Hi, it's Elizabeth. Somebody asked me a really important question about my program and what I do. And that question was, where do you start? What is your first day like? What is your first week like? Because at this time of the year, they're looking at, I've got kids in 3 different classrooms with regular ed teachers, with adult support who are doing accommodations, modifications. The kids are really integrated in those classes. I've got other kids who are with me most of the day because the regular classroom is more restrictive to them because it may be overstimulating, or they get frustrated, and if a kid is going to start throwing things and need to be restrained, that's definitely more restrictive than being with me for most of the day, where they can follow a schedule and nobody's going to have to restrain them. So for some of those kids, they're going to join their regular peers for as much as they can, but going to the regular classroom isn't what's best for them. But for many of my kids, even though they're in a program for kids with severe autism, their autism has to have impacted their learning to a degree that they need a lot more support. They still need to be in the regular classroom because they can't learn from being only with autistic kids. They can't learn how to be social in the real world when they're exclusively with other kids with autism. I mean, that just makes sense, right? So it's a lot going on. And so the question was, where do you start? Because, 12 kids with autism, some of them are not toilet trained. They're kinder through 2nd grade. And for one thing, because they are kinder through 2nd grade, I get the kids back. And so I already know them well, which is good, that only a portion of my group is going to be new. But either way, the first day of school, the most important thing to me is to make sure they want to come back. And I can get technical and call it a preference assessment, but basically what I'm going to do is make sure that I know what they will work for. What are they really interested in? We do a lot of fun things, and I pay attention to, like, oh, this kid, really likes these cars, and this, whatever it's going to be, that everyone before they go home has some reason that they might want to come to school the next day. First of all, because, the relationship with the parent is so critical. I don't want the parent the very next day to be like, what happened yesterday? He doesn't want to go to school. But, secondly, and most importantly, and I didn't make this up, I got this from one of my mentors, Dr. Fernando Armendariz, used to kind of say, teachers, you need to think more like a drug dealer. You get them hooked first, then you charge them for it. And that's exactly what I do. Everything is so positive in my classroom. We get them hooked on that. And then gradually our expectations get higher and higher. They don't even realize how hard they're working for what they're getting. And you do have to keep things novel. The same thing doesn't work all the time, but that's the idea. Get them hooked, then you start to charge them for it. It starts pretty simple, and you go from there.